Hello, welcome back to another Ruffa Sports Cards video. In today's video, I have some interesting topic to go over. I'm going to go over how to scale your sports card business and how exactly I did it, and just a little bit of my backstory in general on cards and everything like that. I've sold over 6 figures of sports cards and cards in general. And now I want to, give a little bit of my knowledge and my tips and tricks. So my little backstory here, this could be a video of itself, but I really want to do a quick rundown. So I used to I had a job that really, jobs seem to be ones that take advantage of you, don't show you appreciation for the work that you do and all that. I had a health issue, and then I decided to leave the job because they couldn't respect that. But the thing was that after I had that issue, I decided to sell cards. So I started off buying on Discord servers. So at the time, it was Justin Gamble's Discord server. It was actually a good Discord server for a tiny bit of time. And then Ryan's Cards LLC Discord server emerged, but not too sure what the future of that will entail or whatnot, but that's another story for another day maybe. But the eBay sales, so I would buy on Discord, flipped on eBay, so then I would know every single card, what they go for. I would go and list on eBay. I grew that for about 4 months, and that was when I decided to first record my first ever YouTube video, long form, just about cards, and really wanted to try to grow that avenue of things more and more. Just really did it for fun. I'll maybe pop up screenshots of the videos up here. But the Whatnot First Class Mail Order program then came out about, I think, at the very early beginning of 2024. I think it was around January, end of January, maybe early February. So I saw the opportunity and took it. I really saw value and doubled down after a couple months of trying, or actually a couple weeks, a couple times of me doing the Whatnot thing. I was really just selling whatever cards sold and whatever I could get. I started with my collection, started with stuff that for me just wasn't worth my time listing on eBay. I was trying to list, the best cards I could, cards that would sell fast. And I had a lot of cards that wouldn't be worth the time to list at $1 or so, give or take, and then see the 30% return. So why not try to just compile I had two two-row boxes, and I would just hammer through a bunch of them. I had 800 cards that holds in between the two-row boxes, and then I would sell through as many as I could. I didn't even, if none of them sold, oh well. I was hoping to hit around 100 to 200 auctions at first for a while there. And then after I sold off and started gaining some more capital, especially as some of my other eBay listings sold, because I still had listings on eBay, I started refining my buying, stopped eBay, and I sold on Whatnot pretty much. And then I sold all my stagnant eBay inventory on Whatnot. So there was some stuff that just wasn't selling. And I decided at a certain point, hey, you know what? This is actually relatively good inventory. And I feel like some of the Whatnot people would actually enjoy it. And I ended up, actually getting a decent little bit for it. So now, where am I at? 90% of my income does come from Whatnot and YouTube. Also, I went to my first card show when I had decided to really double down, and that was when I also started to upload videos very consistently every other day, long-form videos. So if you like long-form videos, check out all my videos. There's a ton posted as well. Actually got my first partnership opportunity offer, potentially. We're emailing, waiting for an email back. That'll take some time to actually work out the details. But so now what can you do? So got some points here. Know what you can get. So if you're going to do Whatnot, if you're going to do eBay, know if you're going to do card shows, know what you realistically can get. Know what you can sell it for. When I say know what you can get, know what inventory you can get. That's Pokemon, but if you're able to easily access $13, $11 cards, you know what I mean? This is your inventory. Maybe it is good to, like, if you're able to get these at 50%, if you find all these cards at $1, you know what I mean? If you're able to do that, it's okay to list on eBay. Take the time to, get your premium there. The biggest thing is when you're trying to scale up your business, you're really gonna want to maximize your efficiency. I'll talk about that more, but do not overpay. So for a $13 card, don't pay $10 and then have to sell it for, $12 and make $2. Like, you're making 20%. And where are you getting that off? Where are you getting that offer at? If you're getting $12 to you, if you're at a card show, you're paying money for the table. If you're online, you're really having to get 15, or if not more, depending too, right? But do not overpay. So really, I know someone, the viewer of the channel, shout out to you. And, obviously there's more people that do it, but they go through the dollar bins or the value bins, and they try to only find like as high of returning cards as possible, stuff that you might just not really see sell much. So like, say someone has no idea that I know someone had a couple PMGs they bought. Like, I know at least 2 or 3 people who had PMGs they bought, which is like a very, very popular card, but very cheap on the buys they did there. And they then they had an amazing flip and return. So you can realistically, you're not going to come across that often, and you're not going to, that's not a consistent source of income. Like, maybe you might have one really good year, but then the next year, are you going to find ever, that deal and that flip that does that same thing? So it's knowing what you can get consistently, knowing what you can sell it for consistently. Do not overpay. Repeat. Like, literally telling you, if you can get, if you have a vendor near you at a card show and they have a dollar bin that you're like so fond over, no one looks through, and you get like $20 cards in it all the time, and it's literally your honey hole, go there, rinse and repeat. Move stuff fast. If you can buy at that $1 and you have a $15 offer, literally take the $12 profit or whatever the heck you get. Take that $10 profit and keep doing it. Move the money. The fast nickel over the slow dime is really where chase out the right price. Talks about that a lot. So does Phoenix Resell. Some YouTubers in the community for reselling video games in particular. But the thing I want you to consider also is your opportunity cost. So I bought a collection out not too long ago from someone. I've done a couple collection buyouts from him. There's some higher dollar cards, don't get me wrong, but there wasn't stuff that I personally deal in, that stuff that I can get a premium for myself. I'm a whatnot guy. I don't sell off, like I have a hard time buying $100 cards at 80% and then selling them on whatnot. I can't do that. I would end up maybe making 2 to 3% or so if I'm lucky, give or take, right? But that's just not how I'm able to operate my business. My opportunity cost for buying a collection out like that is actually super high, because if I went and dispersed that $2,200 across $100, $100 deals, then I can make my returns super high. If I can make, my 40% margin and turn and burn a whole bunch faster, instead of get $10 plus inventory that I'm sitting on and have that be the majority of the value I'm getting, that's a big opportunity cost for me. So you got to consider that as well. Hopefully that made sense. But maximize your efficiency. That's literally your efficiency measures here. If you're still printing out labels and cutting them by hand, get a thermal printer label, especially if you're serious about doing this. Card Collector 2 talked about this a little bit, but the biggest thing too is there's like card scanners. I don't have a card scanner myself. That would be really helpful for me too, personally. One of the things I don't like personally is taking photos for eBay. It's it's even a cost that I need to look into and consider, because that would help me potentially list a lot of stuff on eBay. It's just, I don't know. It's also the time that it takes to list on eBay too, but now I have my computer, my little office set up too, so easier to list than just on the phone. But he also said buy in bulk, so buy your bubble mailers, buy your, don't buy a single bubble mailer at Walmart for $1.25. Go and spend that. I can get literally 500 bubble mailers, like small ones. I'll show you them. Actually, they're right here. These little mini ones. These are the ones I use the most. I get like 500 pack for like maybe $80 or so. I might pop it up here. I probably will. But so grow a social presence. If you're starting off and you're doing something, literally just post some videos, talk about, whatever you want to talk about. Even like Gary Vee talks about how to be successful, or like what's going to be happening in 2026 for not card content, but YouTube content in general, social media content. And a lot of it is that he likes to talk about, that I've seen him talk about recently, is doing like random stuff. Like I think he was talking about something about him liking some type of fruit or something, and that he would he's like the best eater of that fruit, and then people still come up to him that day talking about it, when he made that video like 2011 or something, like super long ago. That's what some people know him for, is the kiwi. Was it kiwi? I don't know. But yeah, so like making random videos like that can really help, even if you might think it's weird, or if you have an interest in it, you think it's fun, you think it's cool, someone else is probably going to have that same interest as well. And one person who likes your content is a lot more than 0 people who like your content. So build more than one revenue source, revenues or avenues of selling also. So when I say revenue source, that could even include YouTube ad revenue. I'm getting paid sometimes very little, sometimes a good little bit on YouTube. It kind of depends on the video, kind of depends on the support scene. It really just depends on a whole bunch of different factors. But the revenue sources, like I'll tell you mine here, for example, Whatnot, card shows, YouTube AdSense, affiliate links, maybe even in the future, partnerships could be one. Not right now, but for me, another one would be direct sales. I know I used to sell TCG player stuff, not anymore, but that could still be technically one. Honestly, I'm not too sure my other ones right at this current second. I know I've said other ones in the past. I'm just drawing a blank right now, but those are 5 right there for me, 4 or 5. I know I have more. I might pop up more while we're talking there, but build more than one revenue source. I named off like 10 the other day, like stocks, dividends, like interest, a whole bunch of other things that you can grow your revenue source. That also will tie into another video that I'm doing. Maybe I'll tease it here. We'll save it. Just because I don't want anyone to take my video idea. But here you go. Find your. So okay. Sorry. This is one. This is a phrase my dad used to say. You might be confused, but he was a salesperson. Literally, when I was a kid, before he relapsed. But long story short, he operated and teached and taught and managed people that were selling cable, so door-to-door salesman. One of his sayings that the guys would know, and that got to our family, was his phrase was "find your nut." Now you can look at that in a couple different ways. There's the squirrel way. Maybe there's a different way you can look at that too. But what he means by that, or what that phrase means, is find what makes you, find what your drive is, find what makes you eat, find what makes you sleep, find what makes you breathe, find what makes you happy. That's the encompassing, like, insert good words there. It's literally the concept of, do you like low-end cards. I love low-end cards. That is my, in essence, a squirrel stashing away his food for the winter, hibernating, like a bear going and gathering, or going and eating a whole bunch of food and then hibernating for months. That's the terminology there. Find what drives you to do everything. So look at your numbers too. Know your numbers. So getting very much into the idea of the numbers matter, and they matter a lot. If you don't know what your numbers are, what your sales numbers are, what your expense numbers are, what your profit ratio is, if you don't know, if you can't name your numbers, and if you don't know or aren't looking at your numbers, that really can help you scale up. If you realize, hey, these $1,000 cards, they're not selling for me. $1,000 and up cards, they don't sell for me. Stay away from those cards. It's literally, you're eating up a ton of your capital, and as well, you're not considering your capital opportunity cost there for that capital. If you can churn and burn $1 to $100 cards, and the $100 and up cards you don't sell at all. Literally happened to me at the last card show. I didn't sell a single card over $100, but I traded cards over $100. I traded 3 cards over $100. Didn't sell a single one. $100 and under stuff sold like crazy. So if I'm going to buy cards for my showcases, I'm making sure they're $100 and less. If I want to trade cards, or if I'm finding those $100 and up cards, I'm looking to trade. So I want cards that someone is going to be looking for no matter what. So put in the time and effort. If you are actually really serious about doing this, do it. There's no one else that can do this but you. Literally consider offloading the work elsewhere potentially as well. So if you can move those $1,000 cards, and someone brings in a collection of, a whole bunch of stuff, and they want to offload everything, say, do you know what you want for everything? Be more willing to take on everything. Know where you can move them. Offload that work to somewhere else. Consignment places. I'm potentially looking into, and hopefully going to be starting my own consignment for whatnot in the future as well. Hopefully 2026 that will happen. Waiting on some documents to actually continue progressing in that. Hopefully that will end up happening sometime soon. But the offloading your workload can really help out. If, like, for example, those $100 plus cards, I'm not just trying to have those sit in my inventory. That's a good bit of capital there. I mean, depending on the card too, right? I can offload those to somebody at 90, 80, 80 to 90 to 100% and be okay with it, because I know I'm not moving those. I don't have, people to, maybe I can send it to consignment myself. But like, if you're going to have somebody bring you a collection and they have like 3 $1,000 plus cards, and that's really what you're looking for, consider buying the entire collection and getting in those, $100, $1,000 or less cards in at, even 30%. You should do amazing, right? Like, that should be, the absolute, cherry on top there. So, this is what I did for literally the big boom happened. Everyone was selling, everyone was capitalizing, everyone was going crazy. I learned and absorbed. If you're not doing that, and you're not learning, and you're not absorbing stuff, if you're not just hanging out, being hungry, finding your drive, and you're not learning and absorbing, you're wasting your time, or wasting time in general. But also at the same time, you need to enjoy yourself. If you're not enjoying yourself, this is all for nothing. Yeah, pretty much, in essence, right? If you're not enjoying yourself, and if you're, just not having fun, if you're not seeing anything, positive out of anything, then there's no reason to be doing this. Don't let people get you down. as someone who posts on YouTube and does social media content, there's going to be negative people. There's going to be people that just absolutely try to, put you down and get you down. Don't let them don't let that happen. At the end of the day, literally, don't worry. But also, at the same time, you want to be realistic. Be realistic with everything. Don't overthink. Literally, don't overthink. If I'll tell you one thing. I had a $140 offer. I had a $140 offer on a Julian Saiyan. I have free shipping enabled on that offer. I have it listed for $150. I was going to take it. I wanted to wait a little bit because I didn't want my eBay shipping time to be impacted and affected, because that happened a good bit last year while I was still listing on eBay. Is I would forget to list on or ship on eBay, and then my seller rating went down because of my shipping time. But I didn't want that to happen, so I kind of waited to accept the offer, and while I was sleeping, the offer then expired, and now I'm still sitting on the card and waiting. But also I kind of realized that the listing name didn't have the searchability to see when someone just searches auto for Julian Saiyan. So I'm gonna end up changing that after I can. I'm waiting, but nonetheless, if you can move it, then move it. That ties into that. Accept that $140 offer and move that card. Don't worry too much, and hopefully just you're just accepting that offer instead of waiting like I did. Now I'm waiting for $120 to come to me again. But don't worry about your PC. I said this a little bit earlier too. If it's PC, it's okay to sell it. There was somebody who made a video about, I don't know, I didn't really like it a ton. He was talking about, he was kind of, I don't know. We're not going to say anything about that, but don't worry about your PC. Literally, that doesn't help you grow your business. If you're very serious about doing this as a business, as a side income, you have to get away from that mindset of PC. Especially if you can move stuff, if you have the avenues of selling and churning and burning and turning a profit a ton, then you really should not be stashing that capital away at a certain extent too. Potentially depends on where you're at in life. If you're 60 plus, maybe that time frame of churning and burning, or I'm not trying to say anything to 60 plus year olds, but know yourself too, right? If you're in retirement and you want to PC a card, and you think that by the time there's certain things to this too, right? Don't worry about your PC, but also work hard and play hard. So if you work hard, you can play hard as well. If you churn and burn those cards that you might be not so adamant about, then you can also play hard too. You can collect. I showed earlier 5 2-row boxes and more boxes too, probably close to like 7 2-row boxes. I'm guessing maybe 6 or in counting. Maybe if not more too, potentially, of PC stuff that I've gained on top of all the profits that I've also had as well. Find your calling. Find your calling. It would be silly for me to say anything else. Find your calling. Find what drives you. If you love low end, love low end. If you love making YouTube videos, make YouTube videos. If you love owning a card shop, own a card shop, and don't look back. Do as much as you can to have that thing actually be successful. Do as much as you can for it to grow. If you seek success anywhere, seize the opportunity. Don't look back. That's really how you do it. So I'll talk a little bit more here on my actual scaling method. So I got my name out there. I grinded at card shows, flipped on Whatnot, saw the losses. I still see some losses. I still see some good bit of losses on Whatnot. But I see gains too, right? The premise of that is one time, just getting yourself out there. I'm not going to say that story in particular, but it's a very good story. But people seeing me around card shows, people knowing who I am, getting to know, hey, that guy, when he's at the show, he's going to look at the bins. Maybe I should next time bring my bin. Maybe next time I should bring a bin myself. Maybe I should look into what these bins are that he's looking at, piling up a big stack, being there for 20, 30 minutes. And then some people even just ask me in general when they see me, if I'm looking through stuff or, this or that, right? Building relationships. So I had the luck of buying out some collections too as time went on, and I emerged myself as a serious attendee of these card shows. I had some card collections come to me, some online, some through word of mouth, some through just me buying stuff from vendors and stuff like that. But the point here being is Whatnot has empowered me. It is my drive, it is my nut per se. It's what keeps me going. Whatnot has fueled every single avenue of my business, in the sense that if I didn't do Whatnot, I didn't have that churn and burn feature, I wouldn't be where I am today. Be okay with that fast nickel over the slow dime. That's literally the entire point. Would you rather have a compounding nickel, say every month that nickel compounds 10%, or would you rather have a dime that compounds 5%? In the long run, you want that nickel. Maybe not that ratio per se, but in essence, the bigger return, I don't know exactly what I just said there, but hopefully I explained. I might pop up words that explains that actual concept right. If I didn't, I'm hoping I did. But my point being is that I had the opportunity for some really nice collections and stuff like these $13 cards that I bought in collections that I'm in the profit on. So when I look at these cards here, this is extra profit right here. 2, 4, 6. That's like $60 right here. Let's just say, right? Conservative value, $60 right here. If I sell these in an hour, that's my wage for an hour, $50. Yeah, profit, extra profit. Sign me up. I actually even have a buyer for this card at $150. But I found what my nut is. I found what that thing that drove my business was. If it's a card shop, if it's a card shows, if it's direct sales, if it's eBay, if it's anything, maybe collects, maybe the trading platforms, maybe it's trade nights. The thing is that I had a whole bunch of cards that, let's just say, some people wouldn't be able to sell and stuff. Like, I would take everything on, like these Scoot Henderson Scoot's actually not really the best example for me right now, because I don't get a ton of good sales on Scoot. But for example, I bought all these cards in collections. These are nice cards that I can churn and burn, and that empowers me to get these $10 cards and at a discount, at a cheaper rate, and actually make sense for me to buy them and then offload them elsewhere, offload them to somebody somehow. I buy out collections. I do bulk progressive lots as well. The last 3 times I tried to do those, the traction wasn't there, hadn't been there. I'm hoping next Wednesday I'm going to do a bulk progressive lot. Hopefully, that's my plan. So if you like bulk progressive lot, look forward to next Wednesday's stream. But that's really where I ramped up my business, was taking on those bulk collections and just going crazy. I'd buy them for, especially when I first started, I would buy out collections of, hundreds to thousands of cards for like 10 to 30 cents per card. Now it's more or less like a penny to 30 cents, even higher too, right? It depends on the collection too, right? You've seen me pay, $100 plus on a card, even recently. But the whole thing is that those bulk progressive, like those bulk lots, I used to pick through. I used to grab out, you know, if I got these cards in a bulk or in a bulk lot in a collection buyout for 30 cents a piece. If I sell that card, I get $1.50 average. I'm turning my money into $1.20 profit on average, right? Across these whole things. That's what I did for a good little bit there. When I refined my buying and stuff like that, I was growing that, you know, those types of buys too. I was refining my buying and seeing what people liked, and you know, knowing what my customers were looking for and stuff like that. So like these scoots, if I get $1.50 on average and I'm into them 30 cents, look at this, ready? So I spent 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. That's $2.70. Let's just say $3 for all these cards if I got that in a 30-cent collection. Obviously, it might not be these exact cards, but at the same time, there was some, you know, stuff. I even ended up getting $4, 5, 6, 7, $8 when I was, you know, selling on whatnot. Not too long ago, literally within the last year or so. Actually, maybe a little longer than a year, depending on, probably longer than a year. But nonetheless, so let's just say $1.20 profit per. That's 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. So that would be $10. Actually, more than that. That would be literally, no, it would be $10.80, right? On that, yeah, $10.80 here, profit. I sell these cards, that's $10.80, 80 cents of profit. Learning your numbers, that's literally ties into exactly where you can know what you can get. So I was able to get those bulk collections out, and I was able to turn my, you know, my super cheap 10 to 30 cent buys, and I didn't do that much. But you know, when they arised, and I was also filling in with better cards, like, you know, $5 to $10 cards that I knew were $5 to $10, and making that average higher. It wasn't like I was getting, for a 30-cent card, I was getting, that I paid 30 cents, right? I wasn't getting that $1.20 to me always. It was just over the board across the average. That's where, if you look at my profit videos that I have uploaded, I might pop up the screenshots up here of all my profit videos. But that's where you can see how the buy costs and the inventory costs have kind of, you know, and how my profit is. It's because I knew what I was able to get. I knew what I could sell them for on average, and I knew I could, you know, make something work at buying some cards for $2 and getting these cards for, you know, some of the cards, the filler stuff, for 30 cents, and hoping, you know, that averages out to be higher and higher. I don't really do that much anymore because I'm trying to, you know, progress and go, you know, to better and better cards and all that. But that is so I would sell off the bulk progressive lots now, and now I'm churning and burning stuff like that. And that's where a seller like me comes in, and I have those collections still that I'm buying. It's just now, instead of me doing that and, you know, knowing what I can get, knowing the ratio I can get, now I'm selling them off on whatnot to you guys. Now I'm looking for you guys to be able to, you know, do that. Hey, I can get, you know, on average maybe 30 cents a card. If I can buy these at 10 cents, that's a 20-cent return on every single one of these cards, right? Certain things like that too, you really, you know, you really can do well on. That's where I'm gonna leave you guys. It's now up to you guys. Literally, it's up to you guys now. There is no one else that this is up to. There's a ton of ways to do it. Churning and burning, literally, that's the only way you can go. If you're gonna hold on to if you're gonna spend, let's just say, if you're gonna spend $1,000 to try to make $400 profit, and you're only doing that once a year, guess what? At the end of the year, you're only making $400 profit. If you're taking that $1,000, learning what you can get, churning and burning, putting in the work, doing all these things I talked about, finding your drive, and you're churning and burning, and say you're spending that $1,000 every month and looking to churn and burn it and get even just a 5% return, right? But so yeah, I'm gonna end up leaving you guys there on that one. The power of compounding. We already talked about this a little bit earlier. That's the big thing. And also in the future, we're gonna be talking about the finances and actual. Let's prepare, and I have a really good topic for that video. Let's prepare for the future. I think you guys will really like that one. But yeah, so I'm gonna let you guys go. I'm gonna edit this video. I have to. This is literally, if you guys, this is all Pokemon. I have to get this all ready for the card show that I'm setting up at. This literally, when this video is coming out, I'm setting up at a card show today. For you guys, technically it's tomorrow for me. So I have to go and price all these cards out. Literally, it's mainly just Pokemon I have to price out. So I'm pricing out all my Pokemon and getting stickers on them. Luckily, yeah, I actually have a lot to do. So I have to upload a video for you guys though. So I'm gonna get going, do that, get ready for tomorrow, and I appreciate you for watching, taking these with me. I hope I see you next one, and deuces.